everybody, and welcome to the newest indoor adventure in the Four Keeps, Departure Part 3. Today is March 1st, 2021, and you are loved. And that is a very important thing that we like to remind each and every single one of our viewers and listeners at the beginning of each and every single one of these games. If this is your first time joining us, you can go to youtube.com/indooradventures to check up on all of the VODs of each of the games that we have played up until this point, including full playthroughs of games like Ghosts of Saltmarsh, Curse of Strahd, Tyrant Security, Tomb of Annihilation, Waterdeep Dragon Heist, and soon to be much more. But for now, if you go to that YouTube, you can check up on all of the VODs of each of the games that we have played, or you can go towards anywhere audio casts are made available for free. You can find us there under the same moniker. And speaking of things that are being made available for free, if you go to patreon.com/indooradventures, you can check up on our after show called Nights in the Courtyard, where we answer questions not only from the community, but also from each other. So if you have any questions that you would like to ask myself or any of these other fine folk, feel free to post them in the Twitch chat to the side or join us on Discord. We have the link to that Discord in the description of this video or audio cast down below, or once again in the Twitch chat to the side. But if you already support us on Patreon, you already support us on YouTube and Twitch and all of those other wonderful places, and you're trying to think to yourself, where can I go to help support this fantastic show even more? Well, guess what, buddy? I got your back. Quite literally, in fact, because if you go to indooradventure.redbubble.com, we got t-shirts, we got posters, we got mugs, we got crop tops, throw pillows, shower curtains, clocks, aprons, and most importantly, we also have Tiamasks. That's right, we have face masks in the 5 chromatic colors of Tiamat, all for your purchasing pleasure, where all of the proceeds, of course, go to help support Doctors Without Borders. So if you would like to help support a good cause or possibly help support the show, you can go to indooradventure.redbubble.com. That is indooradventure, no S at the end, .redbubble.com. But that is it for my opening spiel. So hey, RJ, who are you playing today?
Hey everybody, I'm RJ, he, him, and today I'll be playing Caelum, the Shadowkai Wizard, he, him. Yeah.
Hello everybody, I'm LBHackEmUp, she, her, and I am going to be playing Gwen, the Halfling Barbarian Fighter, also she, her.
Hoi! I'm Cyber, he, him, or any pronouns, and I'm going to be playing Arjhan, the Draconian Ranger Cleric. That's his class, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Who also uses he, him?
Hi everybody, I'm Wings, also known as Danae Keener, she, her, and I'm going to be playing as Coriander, the Elgin Paladin, who also uses she, her.
And I am the Indoor Adventurer, and tonight I shall be...
Oh, shit, actually, sorry. I worked off of mental memory there. It's Shieni, actually.
And I am the Indoor Adventurer, he, him, and tonight I shall be your Dungeon Master. So, last we left off, we had a little bit of a break last week. We did not end up playing, so obviously I don't remember half the shit that ended up going on last session, so the recap's going to be good for me as well as for you guys as well. So, where we started, Cori was still in the Feywild. Everyone else had returned back to the material plane where Caelum had regained his lich-like body. It was at that point, Gwen, that you were able to finally enjoy antihood as the chieftain, as Torizo and Barda, some of your closest companions, ended up having their own little babu, Harbanad, a small little Goliath pup who everyone loves quite an immense amount. It was at that point that Caelum decided that he was going to take a little bit of time off from the party, and actually has been sailing around with Oliviette for a little bit, running shipments between Andapur and the Isle of Rathsk, at least for the moment. Back in the Feywild with Cori, her friend Cypress, who had previously been possessed by the primordial spirit of winter, the archfey known as Vinru, ended up being incredibly worse for wear, for lack of better phrasing. But after a ritual that involved the transition of power of the primordial winter to a small crag kitten, that Cori had named, I believe, looking through my notes, it is Snowflake Clementine, Herald of the Gentle Winter, or was it Snowy Clementine? It was one of the two.
I'm gonna go with Snowy.
Snowy?
I think the first time I said it was Snowflake, but it's gonna be Snowy.
Okay, so Snowy Clementine, Herald of the Gentle Winter. Once again, a small crag kitten who, upon taking it to Cyprus, you watched as this kitten hopped into his lap, and it seemed like Cyprus is back to normal? Well, normal-ish. It's still been a while since he's been able to move and function on his own, but he's working through it. And that was kind of where we last left off. So let's start things off. On the material plane. So Gwen, you and Arjhan had actually taken the house, the Manor of Moonsteer, down to Silt Creek, where you ended up reconvening with your old traveling companion and also betrothed, Philip, who let you all know that he had acquired a piece of property at a very reasonable rate from a tiefling man by the name of Peter, who seemed want to leave town with a quickness. Gwen, at that point, you sent one of your barbarians to go after that guy because goddamn, this tiefling has caused you nothing but problems since the day that you met him. And they are currently on their way. We ended last session with Gwen leading Philip back up to, well, their room. Both names were on the door, at least for the moment. And Arjhan, you were having a nice breakfast with Todd, Philip's pet and faithful traveling companion, a goat. So, we'll say that the morning goes by without much in terms of event. But Arjhan, you end up receiving a message from Newell, who lets you know that there has been a discovery that was actually made at the Dragon Forge, something that they felt like you would want to be aware of, that came to light during the reconstruction process. Also, there is a man here who says that he knows you.
Whenever you say a man.
They call themselves Wren, my lord. I am not sure. They said that you had directed them to this place. Is this true? Should I turn them away?
It is true. He is allowed to be there. Yes. Where are Gwen and I right now?
You guys are in Silt Creek. You had just taken the house there.
And we popped the house?
Yeah.
In Silt Creek?
Yeah.
Okay. And Gwen is still in her room?
Yeah. Gwen is currently preoccupied.
All right. Just sip on some coffee until an appropriate time.
All right. Sounds good. So yeah, that is entirely up to Gwen. Gwen, you went into your room mid-morning. When do you leave said room?
This is not our first night back together, so probably I'd say like an hour and a half later.
This is the first time that you guys have seen each other for a while.
So 4 hours later.
Okay. Philip is just a husk afterward.
We took turns. It's fine.
Gross.
You don't even know what that means.
No, I don't.
Okay, all right.
Yep.
Okay, fair.
Okay, so, yeah, Gwen ends up exiting out of her room most of the morning. Has gone by at this point, Arjhan, allowing you to kind of get a good look at what has happened in Silt Creek since you were last here. And there does seem to be quite a few It seems like there are a lot of travelers here, not necessarily people who are looking to just there are some who are looking to just pass through, but others seem to be having come from Shroudport. There are actually quite a few magic casters who have been displaced from the city and were looking for kind of anywhere to settle, and Silk Creek is far enough away that they decided that it's as good a place as any to actually move in. With that in mind, there has been reconstruction efforts with the building that Philip had taken over to try and make it more of like a tavern style place. Just trying to take advantage of the accommodations of the fact that there are more people coming through. And one of the things that you end up hearing from these passerbys, if you do decide to kind of go out and take a look-see while Gwen is occupied for the next set of hours.
Yeah, I would.
Is that there are several individuals, several handfuls and groupings that are actually making their way to Shroudport. It seems like this ban on magic really doesn't affect them at all. It's a lot of individuals who just don't have any magical properties. But they are going for the Lantern Festival. And you'll remember when you had first actually made your way to Shroudport, Sten Fazeno had actually been growing that special flower of his for a festival that was going to be taking place at some point. That was actually where the rivalry between him and Fang Zest had initially occurred, was from this Lantern Festival. And it seems like these travelers that are making their way there are just excited to actually at least see this thing. They don't see, or at least they do see the ban on magic users as an issue, but because it isn't an issue that directly involves them, a lot of them are sort of just giving it a pass.
You mentioned that there were magic users who had immigrated to Silk Creek.
That is correct.
If I ask around, is Skavik's Slaughterhouse one of them?
Skavik's Slaughterhouse, you find out, does not live in Silt Creek, but actually moved to Dawngrass, and has kind of been acting as a de facto sheriff there. It seems like even though they had retired from the general force in Shroudport, that sort of authoritarian air is just something that always sticks with them.
Cool. And I mean, does anybody like have more information on like why the sudden change in Snatching Weave?
Yeah.
I tried to come up with something clever. It didn't work.
That's all right. Make an investigation check.
Weave snatching.
Investigation. 8.
Okay. So with an 8, looking around and kind of asking around, you get more of the same information that you had received previously, which was a lot of the magic casters got displaced because the new Lord Keeper, one Orjet Ravenholt, just did not want any of them in his town. It seems like this was very much a personal bias that the previous Lord Keeper did not share. But it seemed like there was a sense of relative easiness that Ravenholt was actually able to get the laws put into place to prevent magic casters from being allowed into the city.
All right. Cool. I don't really have anything else.
For sure. And that is when we are going to go over to Caelum. So Caelum, you are out on the open ocean. You are helping out Olivia on the Moonrunner. What would you like to be doing during this time? Is there any developments?
I think it's just sailing.
Okay.
Speaking with Olivia occasionally, making sure Tifa isn't hanging around too much.
Yeah. It
Basically,
seems...
insert Tifa time with Caelum time.
Okay. I would say make a persuasion check.
Oh boy, here comes the -1. 1.
You do your best. You are able to replace Tifa time with Caleb time. It kind of comes off as more incompetence in sailing. Like, you are constantly finding yourself, like, caught in the riggings. Like, oh, Oliviette, please come help. Like, you become the comic relief that breaks up the couple in the anime. Like, that is what is going on in the background. You always find a way to just, like, ruin the mood
like,
accidentally.
Caelum sees Tifa and Oliviette just walking. He, like, looks at a rope, puts his foot inside of, like, the little spool, and then cuts it. And then he just suddenly, whoop! Oliviette!
Yeah. I like it. And how long in total do you think Caelum actually continues to sail?
Up until they reach Marysville on a job, and then he'll hop port there.
Yeah, I'd say it probably takes close to about a month and a half before a job actually takes them to Marysville. And when you arrive at Marysville, you see that there is a very out-of-place Goliath there. And you recognize them as a member of Gwen's tribe. And they just seem to be asking everyone the same set of questions. And based off of conversations that you've had with other dock people, they have been here for probably like 2-3 weeks at this point. And they are just like doing their damnedest to try and track down a tiefling. And it seems like they are getting the runaround on this and just are having a very difficult time actually getting anywhere in this investigation.
Caelum will say his goodbyes to Oliviette and the crew.
There's heartfelt goodbyes except from Tifa. She is happy that you are leaving.
Telling Oliviette, hey, if you need anything, I'm just ascending away. You'll get an incoming when I'm about to arrive.
And I think at that she would probably laugh and say that she'll let the crew know this time.
You'll extend a hand out to her and see if she gives him back a handshake after all this.
Yeah, I think that she would give you a handshake. I mean, you've helped her out on her ship for the last like month and a half. She's fine with this. Yeah.
Yeah. Afterwards, he'll head over to the Goliath, kind of make sure he's in their vision before greeting them. No surprise back pats and getting flipped across the fucking dock.
They're not a fucking horse.
Just skip like a stone into the ocean.
Now, just remember, if a Goliath is coming at you, you gotta stand completely still. They can only see movement.
No, you gotta make yourself seem as big as possible.
Oh, yeah, no, that too. Goliaths hate things that are bigger than them.
You gotta play dead.
Are we talking about Goliaths or bears at this point?
Both.
Both.
So, Caelum, you make sure that this Goliath sees you, you hail them down, and they ask you as well, if you have seen anything or heard anything, about a 6-fingered tiefling possibly coming through here.
I know there should be one in Silt Creek. Hi, I'm Caelum. I was with your chieftain.
And they kind of smile and say that they recognize you from back at the tribe when you were there. Not many people wearing owl masks.
Why are you after Peter?
They shrug and just say that it was something that the chieftain told them to find.
All right. Well, I guess I can help you out on this one.
You say that you can help them out.
Yeah.
Yeah, they are very happy at that. They say that they've been here for far too long and don't want to disappoint the chieftain.
What time of day is it?
It's probably midday at this point, closer to evening.
Give them a pat on the back and walk them over to a temple. You probably haven't had rest in a while, so you know what? This one's on me. It's the Temple of Soon.
Nice. This Goliath is down for it.
Cool. Caelum gets that Goliath a room. He gets himself a room.
Okay.
And we'll close the curtain on that one.
All right. That does nothing to help track down Peter, but it's sure helping something. Meanwhile,
motivation is key.
Okay. Meanwhile, out in the Feywild, Cori, so you've just watched Cypress go from being a barely functioning, bedridden patient to there being a sense of life that has come back to him. But it only seems to present itself when he is around this creature, when he is near Snowy Clementine. It seems like the two of them share a bond of sorts. Snowy preferring to be in Cypress's company and Cypress being borderline unfunctional outside. And the medical staff had tried forms of separation, like seeing if they could get any kind of physical therapy with Cypress without Snowy's presence. But there just doesn't seem to be any progression. It seems like without Snowy, his condition always reverts back to the way that it was. But as such, Diantha and Rudbeck both agree that if they aren't able to find another Winter Caelum, the Primordial seems to have already picked out the next one. And so at this point, they are trying to figure out how best to train this young Eladrin, who had received a burden far greater than far heavier than the weight of their shoulders could bear at far too early a time.
Cori would impress that it's important that this be Cypress's choice. That, like, yes, this is like a strange situation. Yes, everything has kind of like fate seems to be leading him this direction. But if he's dragged there unwillingly, then it's not going to end well.
Do you have this conversation with Cypress, or are you going to wait to have that conversation?
She'd wait for a little bit until it was like until it was certain that like they couldn't be separated before any amount of training begins. She would bring it up to him.
Okay. When you do, I think that Cypress is probably like out in the courtyard. He seems to be able to walk by himself, at least around Snowy. Like, he doesn't have to be holding on to them. They just sort of like will walk alongside them. And Cypress is just sitting at a bench. He's drinking some nice warm tea. That seems to be doing him some good. And when you sit next to your friend, although they are still in their winter form, there is just like this. They aren't as cold as you remember them being. They aren't as closed off. And Cypress looks towards you, offers you a hint of a smile, and will make a motion for the seat next to him, seeing you approach, as he doesn't want to have to stand to talk to a friend.
She sits down, and I think that likewise, she's not as open as he remembers. She has definitely she's a lot more world weary. She's died several times, like, and there's just kind of like this under tinge of sadness that she always has. As opposed to like the Cori that he remembers, which was probably really comparatively bubbly and like energetic almost all of the time. It's not like that anymore.
No, I mean, the two of you have also had enough time to actually like talk about the events that unfolded leading up to Cypress's return. Not only had you told your story to a almost sleeping Cypress, but you also had told your story to a much more awake, much more attentive figure as well. So I don't think that it's necessarily anything that they are like harboring against you or anything like that.
All right. I think that they've actually sparred in this courtyard as well. So, like, they sit and kind of reminisce on that.
Yeah. And Cypress says that I don't think that I'll be able to hold a sword the way that I used to, but I think there might still be a chance for me, one way or the other.
How do you mean?
Going from something as easy as pure strength to a little bit more finesse oriented would probably do me wonders. If I can't have the same power behind a strike that I used to, I need to figure out some other way to wield a sword.
Well, who says it has to be a sword? You've always been an adept spellcaster.
That's true. But I want to make my own choice. If you're an adept spellcaster and you run out of spells, then you're good as dead if you don't know how to use a dagger. You don't know how to use a sword. Or if you don't have somebody to fight alongside you. And he says towards Snowy, who is making these growls. Probably like looking at a bird up in a tree.
Does the little chatters.
Yeah.
Like, there's a bird I can't reach. Come here, big boy. Come on. Well, speaking of choices, it's become quite clear that you and Snowy should be staying together. I also want it to be clear that this is not your duty. This is only something that you do if it's something that you want.
And he will give you a smile that you have seen before, not just on his own face, but on Caelum's face as well. Of a figure who knows that the answer isn't going to be easy. And he says, even though it wasn't me, I still hurt a lot of people. Even though it wasn't me, there's still everyone is going to look at me and see somebody who let winter take over, who almost caused everyone's doom. That was a thing that could have happened. Have you ever looked at something or thought about something and realized that it was something only you could do? From what you were telling me about your stories, it sounds like you have.
She just gives him a sad look.
I think being the Caelum of Winter is something only I can do. But when I become Caelum, there's going to be a change. I never liked the enduring frost. It never made sense. That you would just live out in the wilderness by yourself, surrounded by ice and snow. For a while, it sounded nice. Back before everything happened, anyways. But when I take that title, I'm going to, Coriander. I'm going to be the Caelum of the Endless Thaw. I am going to stand as a symbol for people to let them know that in those darkest moments, and in the coldest winter, there's always the thaw. There's always going to be the promise that that ice and snow will melt away and reveal something so much better underneath.
Speaking of which, there's a city in the Winter Isle called Solaris Relthwyn. It is a wealth of knowledge, a very important cultural find for us. People from all around are going to want to see it. People will want to study it and learn from it. What I'm trying to say is, when you go back to winter, it won't be alone.
And I think that's the way that it should be. I don't think that anyone should be by themselves for that. But that's why I have Snowy. It's a constant reminder that I'm not alone. That, and as also a constant reminder of some of the mistakes that I made,
but also a constant reminder that people can change.
And he nods. And then he chuckles to himself and says, I've been finding it hard to do anything but winter lately, but I'm sure I'll change eventually.
Cori smiles.
And as we move away from the two of you sitting in the courtyard, we will go back to the manor at the manor of Moonstier. Gwen, you and Philip are able to descend down from the staircase, and when you do, Arjhan is there, probably on like cup of coffee number 2. This is like cup 1's done. Went out, talked to the people of the town, came back. This is the afternoon cuppa.
It's like the mid-morning monster energy.
Yeah.
I don't have a problem. Hey, what's the plan?
The plan is to find Peter and go back to the Goliath camp, right? We're gonna check on Shroudport. Someone was gonna go check on Shroudport, right?
I thought that was going to be us, but I actually may need to stop back at my house.
Oh, the tower thing?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, sure.
Apparently they found something and Ren is there.
I'm sorry, who?
Ren?
Ren?
Yes.
Why?
I don't know.
Are we on, like, killing them terms? Or...
We're not on killing him terms. Him?
All right.
Yeah, it's a him.
Okay. Whatever you say, dude.
Should we go now?
I mean, yeah, it's been enough time that we can pop over again.
All right.
Okay. So yeah.
We're moving the RV.
Alrighty. RV has successfully been moved over to the Dragon Forge. And when you exit the manor, you can see that there are significant improvements that have been made to this tower, even from the outside. And Gwen, one thing that you recognize is that, or at least can see now, is not the tower itself, but there seems to be almost like a guard wall that has been put around the base of it to give a physical landmark for those who might not have the ability to see this tower, to at least point to it and say that's where the base of the tower is. You can also see that there are several buildings that are in the process of being made. All things considered, though, there aren't anyone living in them yet. But they are there, at least as like temporary stays, or were temporary stays for the people that were, Abishai, that were constructing said building. But at this point, when you arrive and then make your way out of the house, Cybra ends up like rushing out of the door first, because her favorite companion and friend Stroom is there, the big ol' lightning breathing guard drake, and they seem to also like barrel towards Cybra, and the two of them just sort of like tumble and wrestle and play a little bit. Stroom is much bigger than Cybra is, but he's letting her win, kind of. And at this point, you also hear that there is a sound of metal on metal clanging coming from the tower itself. And as you make your way over, you can see that there is a stone pool that has been filled with lava. And standing in the pool up to about their knees, with one hand holding onto a large metal mallet, a hammer, and then the other just pushing down on a piece of metal, you see Kendek just working away. And as he realizes the two of you are standing there, he holds up a finger to just give him a moment. And then he will grab the sword that he was working on, walk over to a cooling pool, submerge the sword into there, set his hammer down, and sort of like brush off the molted rock that had made its way onto his legs. Before coming over, and Arjhan, he will extend a arm out to you.
I'll grab the forearm.
Yeah, it's the forearm bro hug, very quick. And Kendek says, "It's good to see you again, brother."
You as well. What's happened here?
Well, and Kendek waves towards you as well, Gwen, and says, when the architect was working, they ended up uncovering rooms. We found a body.
Of who? Of what? Was it a...
It appeared to be a Goliath.
What?
It had scales on its arms and a dagger hilt deep.
Oh well, I'm glad that
its
plot.
back.
I'm glad that plot thread is getting wrapped up.
What?
I'm not sure.
I suppose we'd better see.
And Kendek then leads you up a flight of stairs. And as you do, you see on the second floor, the library that was there previously has kind of been tidied up a little bit, at least to what looks like about 15 feet away from this little back area that has a lot of like blue scarves and other fabrics and pieces that have just sort of been like mounded up into a pile. And you see, looking over a book is a bald elven figure wearing vibrant green robes that as you approach, they turn and look, and you see the face of Ren. And, oh, you finally decided to show up. I heard, well, not heard. You offered the invitation that if I was ever in the neighborhood that I could stop by the tower, so I figured that I might as well see what all of the hubbub was about, and then I ended up meeting this fine gentleman, Kendek, and he seems to be, well, very similar to you in more ways than one, and that strum is... I have been trying to tell them that this place is a library and not their nest, but as you can see, I have not exactly been successful. I've been trying to get him to leave for some time now.
Yeah, he's here by my invitation. So, Ren,
Yes, well, as it would turn out, as I'm sure Kendek has told you, you found one of my daggers.
your daggers.
Yes. Apparently, it was lodged inside of a Goliath man in one of the rooms that was up above. His name was Ednair. Does that ring any bells?
I'm sorry, I don't remember you at all.
Oh, I remember you. You were one of the small Spitfires that barged into my cave, demanded that I let you know where one of your friends were. I said she's not here, she's already dead, and then you got very upset, and you and then your other two friends, including Arjhan, ended up leaving in quite a huff. It's probably why you don't remember me, is that you were focused on that sort of thing.
Was this right before we went to the Feywild?
It was right before we went to the Feywild.
Right, okay.
You went to
You're
the
on thin ice,
Feywild?
I'm watching you.
Oh, please.
We had better see this body.
Yes, of course. And Ren will... He will lead you downstairs and then to one of the makeshift homes that had been put up, and says, I've been kind of using it as a little bit of a lab, if that's all right.
You are welcome to use these facilities as you wish, within reason.
Well, thank you. It's awfully kind.
Hey, Arjhan?
Yeah.
Can you just...
Yeah.
we don't fucking know this person. You're just gonna let him hang out in our house? Or your house, sorry.
We don't know this person well. My god does.
Alright, I
he
can
knows-
trust your god.
And he knows me.
And
Your call.
And as Ren leads you into this building, he will actually take you down into the basement where it is generally cooler. And you see on a stone slab the body of a Goliath that has been cut down from collarbone to about mid-torso, kind of splayed open. And both of their arms at the elbows have actually been removed. And you see that there is a separate spot on a table that is also one of these arms that looks like it is coated in white scales that is sat resting by itself, and the other has also been cut down the length to kind of show the internal workings. And you can see that the musculature on the inside of the arm is different than the musculature on the inside of the torso.
Was this the only body that was found?
And Kendek nods. And Ren walks over and says, and the murder weapon. Well, murder is a strong phrase here. And there is a dagger. And it looks like it fits in Ren's hand perfectly.
Can you describe the dagger?
It is a... This doesn't necessarily look like a ritual dagger. It has a little bit of a curve to it, more of a deeper rivulet down the middle for a bloodletter, and has a golden handle that has a emerald that's been set into the pommel. And along the pommel and crossguard itself, the small crossguard that it does have, you actually see what looks like the depiction of an ancient green dragon.
So not like the ritual daggers that we found in like Art 2.
No.
Okay.
Sorry, I have a question. Did we get the information? Because I have in my notes that this is a full-ass green dragon.
It is.
Is that something that Gwen knows?
No.
Okay,
Arjhan
cool.
does know. But
Okay. I have it in my notes. I didn't think it was something Gwen knew, so just
Okay.
making sure.
Arjhan knows and Cori knows. A lot of good Cori's knowledge does here, though.
All right, and Bryn, do you know where this dagger has been up until this point?
I'm assuming it was probably inside of this one.
For that.
On one of my doubles.
Your doubles?
Yes. Have I not told you? I can separate-
No, I think you should probably fill us in.
All right. Well, here's the long and short of it. I was supposed to go through one of those scary holes that opened up in the sky when that dreadful Queen of Ravens decided that she was going to make a mockery of everything magical. So instead, rather than going in myself, I split myself, not really down the middle, more of like a 25-75, and I sent the 25% through that I was supposed to go and therefore fulfilled my duty. So that one closed the hole from the other side, allowing me to live in the woods by myself, ignoring most everything, for quite some time. But, as fate would have it, I have kept my abilities, one of which, of course, being... And you see, like, stepping from behind him, almost like walking from around a tree, is another version of himself. The tattoos are the same. Everything seems to be the same. And he looks towards himself and kind of points. And then the one that you were talking to looks towards the other Ren and points as well. I've been able to maintain an element of duplicity about myself.
Do you know where this double is now?
Well, yes, I'm assuming that they probably died in the tower. Let me recap some things that may have happened. So, you seem like you're old enough, and he points towards you, Gwen. Do you all remember the Goliaths having interactions with a particular draconic following that was based around, well, I would say based around, it actually was this spot.
Yeah. I wasn't around for that fight because I was too fucking young, but yes.
Well, young enough to learn. That's the important part. Now, during that time, there were some thoughts going on about what we could do to possibly bring back dragons as a whole, or at least that's kind of the general assumption that Tylera, Ednair, and all of the others, Torjak included, wanted to bring. So we thought to ourselves, all right, what's the best way to go about doing that? I may have let Torjak know that there were methods in place that if you took ancient pieces of dragons and did a little bit of biomancy, that you could try and fuse yourself with them, and he took to that like moth to flame. Absolutely loved the idea. Was very dangerous, thankfully. We ended up honing it in. Well, they ended up honing it in due to my notes. Really should not have shared those with them in the day. That's all right. Goes to show what kind of allies you make along the way. Now, I helped them out for a little bit until, well, we figured out you. And with that, he says towards Arjhan, Tylera had located an egg, so we found that egg. We performed our rituals on it. Sometime later, you emerged and became quite the point of contention. I must say, there were a few that thought that it would be a good idea to unleash Tarlean at the time. I did. That was not on my cutting board, for sure. So I took my notes. It was a little bit more. I'm sorry I left, but it seems you're here now, so everything worked out in the end for you. But then Edner and Torjak decided that they were going to lead some forces against the Goliaths. They ended up losing because your people are very resourceful when it comes to the dead. I must commend you on that one. Now, they ended up retreating here, and they were going to try and recreate some of my experiments. One of my selves was still listening, and, well, it was going to be easier to not have to explain things to an entirely new group of individuals, so I tried to have my duplicate do some stabbing. And it worked once, apparently, and motions towards Edner, but I have no idea what happened to Torjak. It's like having a familiar. Do either of you two have familiars? Where you can, like, share your senses with them up to a certain point, up until they die, and then they come back?
No, but we're familiar with the concept.
All right, so imagine my double was like my familiar, but then when my familiar ended up dying after I had been in the action of murdering Edner, that was the last I really saw of them, and quite honestly, I forgot a little bit. I had a lot of things going on. The Gated Glen and I were in quite an argument about fishing rights at the time. It was just a whole thing. But I've reclaimed my dagger and now found Edner as well. So, thumbs up on that one.
Great. Well, Gwen, at least we have something to share with your tribe.
Right. I'm sorry. You said you were around when the Raven Queen was here?
Oh, dreadful. Absolutely the worst.
Yeah, he's a dragon.
Like a dragon?
Yeah, I had that same reaction whenever Cori finally told me.
Don't go telling everyone.
It's on a need-to-know basis, and she needs to know.
Well, yes, but I'm saying I would prefer it if people assume that the Bronze Baron, that dick, is the only one of us that's left. That way I don't get any ne'er-do-well adventurers or people with a high sense of self-importance chasing after little old me, ruining my gig, my shtick.
Right. Okay. No, this is what I was expecting to do today. Okay, cool. Can I take this body?
For what purpose?
I'm gonna take him back to the Goliaths so that they can see that he's dead.
I'm keeping the hands.
Looks to Arjhan like, I'm not sure how this can be bad for us, so...
What do you intend to do with this body? Looking at Ren.
Well, it's not very often that I get the result of a biomancer here on a table that I can kind of idle around with. Figure out if I can remember pieces of the spells that, or at least figure out the route that would allow individuals to do something like this again, if possible, if they wanted. Not saying I'm going to, but there's a chance.
I don't like that chance.
Well, if Look, I don't know what happened to Tylera. I don't know what happened to Torjak. If they're doing something weird and ooky, I want to be able to know how to undo it.
I would like to insight check a dragon.
Yeah, roll an insight check against him.
8.
All right. Yeah, he seems on the level. Seems like he has good head on his shoulders.
We're taking the body. You can keep the hands.
That's all right with me. That's fine. I suppose.
Solid.
Let me be extremely clear. I do not trust you. I do not trust what you are going to do with these hands. I do not trust what you have done to me and what you have allowed to happen to me. And I'm letting you stay here and do whatever you need to try and prove myself wrong. But please understand, it is extremely rare that anybody gets a second chance with me. Don't waste it.
I don't plan on it.
We take the body.
Okay. So, you drag this body back to the Manor of Moonstier. Are you spending any more time here?
Yeah, I want to hang out with
Okay.
Kendak a little bit. Not really for anything, just
Okay.
because he's my bro.
Yeah. So Gwen, before you had left, you had asked Kendek to help make a thing for you. Was it a set of armor or was it weapons?
I don't remember at all. I'm assuming it's a set of armor that I could wear because my AC is kind of low.
Okay. Yeah, so I think at this point that you would be able to, I just want to make sure, because you had given him a scale, correct?
Yes.
You'd given him one of Rasa's scales. So, Rasa. Alrighty, so Gwen, because Kendek has had time to work on this as well, you can add Red Dragon Scale Mail to your inventory.
Oh. Gwen's like, no, not the Red Dragon mask.
That's a different item entirely.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Gwen is very excited, very happy. Gives Kendek a super big hug with lots of like gripping, and chinks off.
Okay, sounds good. So yeah, and then Arjhan, while you're in the tower, Kendek will show you that this is kind of the layout that they have, where the bottom floor is the forge, the second floor is Ren's library / Stroom's resting area. It seems like Stroom just, as a guard drake, no, this is my spot. Like, they have found their spot in the house. That is theirs. You cannot change that. Regardless of how often Ren has seemingly attempted to do so. The third floor has been now opened up, and you can actually see that instead of this being like the test chamber where Kendek had actually arrived out of, that this has been instead reclaimed. It looks like there are 4 decent-sized rooms that have been put here, all with bedding, basic amenities, that sort of thing. And if you are wanting to take one of these as your own, you are more than welcome to do so. And then same with the 4th floor. It seems like that has also been opened up, although there are only 3 rooms on the 4th floor, and one of them is a dedicated shrine to Tiamat.
4th floor.
4th floor it is. So yeah, as you are kind of like setting up your bedding area, you get or at least like you begin to feel a little bit of a comforting warmth on the adamantine coin that you wear around your neck. And you get or at least like you feel a drawing to the shrine.
Yeah, I'm gonna go before the day's up.
Okay. So you have that you are going to be doing. Gwen, while Arjhan is hanging around the tower, being buds with Kendek, what are you doing? What is your plan?
Gwen has no objectives here. Probably playing with the babies for a while and hanging out, maybe on the front porch, drinking sweet tea with her man.
Okay. And Gwen, as you are on the front porch drinking sweet tea with your man, you hear what sounds like wagon wheels. And as you're like looking over in the direction, you see like an old weathered man who looks like he just has like a lot of burns around the front of his mouth.
She looks around, like it's not like anyone lives close to here. She goes, "Hail, traveler! Care for a cup of ice-cold iced tea?"
And as you say that and they continue to get closer, you can see that the bottom of their cart is actually made out of stone. And as you hail and well met them as they arrive, just, "Oh, my ears don't deceive me. It's been quite some time." And you see a fire genasi poke out from the back behind this man's head. And the two of them you recognize as Fiorette and Wenty, the traveling bakers.
Oh my god. Gwen gets unreasonably excited and jumps up from the porch, running, like skipping over. "Oh my gods, how'd you get, Philip, come here.
Fiorette wanted to go around the lake, so we figured that we might as well, and then we saw that there were houses and buildings, but nobody moving around except for all you."
It's so good to see you here. It's been like, I actually have no idea. I've been plane traveling, so a long time.
Oh, it's probably been close to about a year.
Wow. What do you have? I'm sorry to skip pleasantries, but what do you have?
Well, we still have pumpkin bread.
Okay.
We still have rye. We have wheat. We have whole grain. Got a little bit of a honey drizzle. We got sweet bread. Are you interested? It's like you braided bread, and then you bake it, and then you can pull off little squares.
That sounds fucking amazing. Arjhan! Arjhan, come here!
Arjhan, you just hear this like, like you recognize that as Gwen like yelling for you.
I smell bread.
Oh yeah.
And there's like a dust cloud as Arjhan like superhero lands next to Gwen.
Look who it is!
It's you there. Haven't seen you in quite some time. You still in the market for pumpkin bread?
Absolutely.
I never forget a bluff. And then you see him give a smooch to his fire genasi bride, and she will begin making and kneading the bread in the back in their stone oven. And this is like the ice cream man just showed up. Like Kendek also smells this sweet bread. Ren pokes his head out.
All right, I want some do-si-dos. I want some tag-alongs. I want some some thin mints.
Yeah, and they explain that they were just trying to take a path around the lake, and then they saw all the houses and figured there's probably people there who might be in need of bread, but this doesn't really look much like a lived-in town.
It's not.
It's still under development.
Yeah.
It's one
Right
of those
now,
master planned communities,
Mm-hmm.
but we're still in the like planning phase.
Right.
Well, if you got people who are in the market for needing some kneading, well, we could always just park our cart nearby, and if you get hungry, we'll be here for you. At least for the next foreseeable future.
Did you go up to Greenreach?
No, we haven't made it there yet. Is everything all right with them?
Yeah.
I heard
yes,
that things
should
got
be.
a little weird around last
Yeah.
winter, but
all good now, as far as I'm aware.
oh, good for them.
Mhm.
Always do enjoy the halflings coming running about.
Yeah. Did you see the Goliaths on the way over here, or did you not go
No,
that
we
far inland?
avoided them. It has
Oh.
been best to avoid Goliaths as traveling merchants for some time.
Fair. But
I've heard that
I
they
can
are
put you
getting-
on a list.
There's a list?
Yeah. There.
I'm sorry, what? Do you have, like, command over Goliaths or something?
I mean, I am their chieftain.
A chieftain, Fira. You hear that? And then you just hear, like, a fleeting laughter in the back.
Yeah. It's fine. But no, I'm sure, like, if you stop by every once in a while, it'd be fine. But if you go to Greenreach, amazing. They would love you up there.
Oh, they do. They love us every year we go up there.
Yeah, I don't think you want to park here, though, because once we leave, it's just going to be, like, the two people that live in that tower not going to be great business for you.
That's why.
You
Well,
won't buy that much bread.
based on the calorie intake of two of my kind, absolutely they will buy a lot of bread. And we also have the construction crew.
Oh, fair. Okay.
I don't know if they carry material plane money though.
Oh, I have some. Gwen hands over 25 platinum.
To the food cart that rolled up?
Yep.
I don't know how to tell you this, miss, but I don't exactly have change for you.
Oh, no. That's for your trouble. You just feed them for a while.
Oh, you just had this on hand?
Yeah, I don't know what else to fucking do with it.
Our luck has changed, missus. I think that we might be able to post up for some time and not have to worry about making strangers' bread for a living.
But if you would continue to make these strangers bread for a little bit.
You are no longer strangers, friend. You're friends. Very wealthy friends indeed.
Yeah. Well, cool. I'm glad that you stopped by. It's so good to see. I mean, like,
I feel like we are going to put down a fair bit of roots right here. Thank
solid.
you.
If we have our first shop in town.
By the way, have you been to Shroudport recently?
No, well, we did go for a little bit, and then there was talk that there was going to be a new Lord Keeper, so we stayed for the Lord Keeper, and then he ended up just proving out to be a righteous stick. Excuse my language, but we figured that we were going to be going back over through the Gated Glen, and then we usually will tour around anyway, so it was more our time to go. Oh, is everything all right over there?
We're not sure. We would like to find out. But it's been difficult using our normal means.
I'll keep an ear to the ground for you.
Appreciate that.
Yeah.
All
Shit,
right.
we should probably get down there, huh?
Yeah, I figured, should we bounce back to your tribe or start heading down to Shroudport sooner rather than later?
How long in between Bamfs can we, what was it?
It takes
4
like
hours?
10. Yeah, you have to be at a place for 4 hours, but it takes 10 minutes to actually travel.
Okay. Yeah, I think let's go down to Shroudport first. We can always just pop back up there.
Okay.
And I can channel with Chua tonight and let them know what I'm doing.
And that we have custody of the body.
Right, exactly.
Except for the hands, but maybe that's just not important information.
Is it important information? I didn't want to ask in front of him because I didn't know if that was like a necromancy thing and I'm supposed to be like the or knowledge on it, even though I know nothing about it.
Well, I have no idea. I think you can raise people without their hands if that's something that your tribe needs to do, but I get the sense that if he can figure out how to reverse this sort of biomantic fuse chimera thing that Ednar?
Yeah.
Ednar and Torjak were doing and is able to come up with a remedy for that. That might prove useful if we run into Torjak.
Right. Should we talk to Caelum about this?
Possibly, yeah.
Okay. Well, it was great to see you guys. Arjhan, are you good to go?
I need to check in on one last thing before we go.
All right. Yeah, I'm just gonna. How much of that sweet bread do you have? And the pumpkin bread?
And they say, well, for what you just handed us, as much as you like.
Yeah, just load it all in the house. We'll take. Well, we don't want to leave you dry, but like those two.
Well, like enough, but like not too much where we don't eat it for a while and it just doesn't hold.
All right. And at your...
Not speaking from experience or anything.
No, that has never happened to me with the bread in my freezer. But with that, they will definitely begin going through the process of making all of the bread that you ordered. And as we are getting ready, Arjhan, you heading back in to the Dragon Forge up to the Shrine of Tiamat. That is where we are going to go on our break for the evening. So we're going to try and be back in 5 to 10 minutes. So don't go no place unless it's to grab a food, grab a drink, grab a friend, or possibly go to indooradventure.redbubble.com. Pick yourself up something nice, and we'll see you guys shortly. All right, everybody. See you soon. Going there we are. Hello, everybody.
Steven! Hey, we'd just like to take a little bit to thank all of the viewers in chat right now and to you during this break of time, this time break.
Time break.
Time break.
The time break.
Time break.
Time break.
Time
break.
Thank you for being with us.
Viewers, I'm scared. I don't know what just happened, but apparently it was a time break. That's all
no,
right.
we're not gonna do this.
All right, so we have returned. Arjhan, you are making your way up to the shrine
Make my
of
way.
Tiamat. Before you head your way all the way there, Caelum, you've just gotten done with your own curtain fade going into the Temple of Soon in Marysville. Where are we picking up with Caelum?
Caelum leaves a nice tip on the table for whoever was hosting him. And he's going to ask the matron if she's heard of any six-fingered tieflings rolling through here.
Okay. Make a persuasion check.
Here goes that -1 again. 2.
A 2? Okay. You know, she really hasn't. A lot of people come in, and it's really not the matron's job to vet that. She kind of leaves those to her workers to kind of like have a better understanding of that sort of thing.
And there is a pouch of 50 gold on the table.
Okay, roll again, and this will count as advantage.
Okay.
You're not rolling with advantage, but we're going to take the higher roll if possible.
4. You know what? Keep the change.
She just nods. It says, the temple appreciates your donation.
All right.
Just,
Outside the temple, he's going to cross his arms and think for a moment, talking with the Goliath like they are a rubber duck.
what?
Well, if Peter were to set up shop here, he'd have to take up something with the Trades Commission, so I think the mayors might be our next best bet.
And they nod and say that sounds like a good idea. They are kind of like diverting. It's one of those things. The higher ups just came and said, "You're off the case. Now it's up to me to be able to take over the case." Like it's like an NCIS show. Actually, yeah, this would be more NCIS because you are next to a body of water. So, yeah, make a...
Oh, I rolled on the wrong thing. Can I... Never mind. It's still the same modifier.
Cool. So make an investigation check this time around.
Yeah. This button. That's better. 21.
Okay, so 21, that is indeed a much better number. And scoping around and having been on at least decent terms with the mayor of Marysville, Captain Blessington, you are able to revisit him, get a better understanding. He kept litigious records of all of the comings and goings of ships previously, and approaching him this time around is no different. And looking through, you see that a tiefling matching Peter's description actually left Marysville about a month ago.
You will show the paper to the Goliath and tap it. Your guy left Marysville about a month ago, heading towards...
And it looks like it is set to sail to the Isles of Alestria.
Away from here. Very far away from here.
Quite a ways, yes.
Do you want me to update your chieftain so you can get on your way?
They say that they would like that very much.
Cool. You okay? You all set up? You need anything?
The Goliath?
Yeah.
They need a mount. They need like an either a really, really big draft horse, an auroch, something for themselves.
Walking towards the stable. Did you walk all the way here?
They came from the house. Like they got bamfed over to Silk Creek, and then it was a couple day walk after that point.
Sure. Caelum will purchase them a large draft horse
Okay.
for was it 15 gold, I think? I'll double check.
Yeah, it's the same price that that it is listed as in the book.
Send them on their way, and then ping his stone for Gwen. Hey, met up with one of your people. Peter sailed to the Isle of Alestria. I'm doing fine. Caelum.
Caelum, we found the bread people. They're up near Arjhan's tower. They're going to be here for a while if you want pumpkin bread. Thanks for the
what? Update.
Nope.
No, that
that's a
wouldn't be
25.
Message? No. If I was Gwen, what starts walking back into port.
And the Goliath that's with you, like, have you already purchased them?
Yeah, the horse and
Okay.
stuff.
Have means will travel. So they are, the Goliath gives you their thanks, and then is going to ride off. And at this point, it is, I want to say it's later in the day. This is probably the same day that, or no, it wouldn't have been the same day. This would be a little bit after Gwen and Arjhan met said bread people. But at least you know that they are at the tower. And then, so, then Caelum, you know that they are in the Isle of Alestria. You're in Marisville at port. Is there anything else that you would like to do?
He'll find a metal worker of some kind and commission a silver door handle.
Okay. Yeah, silver door handle, it would take them about 2 days to actually fix.
And while he's there, he's going to just hang out,
Okay.
take some rest and relaxation time.
Yeah. You're more than able to do that. It is the first night of your rest and relax. It is a full moon.
He will cast Fly on himself and head out of town.
Okay.
Find a nice clearing and set the shield down.
Okay. And when the moon's light hits the shield, you're used to Amaris always having this like glowing spectral form about her. She seems much more physical this time around. Her robes are still a little tattered. It does still look kind of like an oversized owl hoodie almost, that she keeps pulled up over her head with two little ears kind of poking up. But when she sees you, she rushes over and she gives you a very big hug. And this hug, whereas before you could like mentally parse the weight of feeling her arms around you, there's physicality here when she gives you this hug.
Sorry, it's been a while.
And she just smiles and gives you a don't worry about it kind of wave.
So, well, I found out a few things about myself, and I guess it makes a little bit of sense. And he will lift her up, find a place to sit, put her on his lap, and tell her the story of Corvain.
I think she'll sit and listen. And at the end of your story, she just kind of like hunkers in and then just puts her head against your chest and then just like wraps you in for a very tight, very scared hug.
Well, the good news being I'm like the reincarnation of your dad, so... Surprise? I was a little surprised too.
Yeah. And she like tilts her head up towards yours and then just kind of like buries her face into your chest.
He'll hold her close.
And this is the first time in what feels like months that you have been able to do this.
I'm still gonna keep my promise. I'm still gonna keep you safe. I should really talk to Celine and Mistra about some of this stuff. I'm supposed to be on vacation, you know that?
She asks, or she says, dads don't, not verbally, but on the shield, dads don't get vacation.
All right, touche. While you're back in the shield, is there anything you want me to get you? I might ask Arjhan where I got those plushies from.
She says, it's been over a year. And you still haven't finished the last book you gave me.
All right, bring it out.
And she rustles in your things, because that's where you keep the book. And she will pull out How to Train Your Chimera. And seeing it now, you realize you were only like 3 chapters away from finishing it. Like, she has been waiting so patiently.
I could be such a butt right now and skip to the last page.
She shakes her head. No, don't.
He'll turn to where they left off and begin reading. And damn it, they're going to finish this book tonight.
Okay. Sounds good. Spend some quality time with Amaris, making sure that she gets to finish How to Train Your Chimera, and she can finally find out what happened in the city of Burke. Same city, different place. It's fine. So yeah, you are able to have that conversation with Amaris. Cori, in the Feywild, what has Coriander been up to? At this point, enough time has passed by that Scorchbane being in the Isle of Winter has caused a significant amount of glacial melt. His red dragon presence seems to be enough to actually change the landscape of the surrounding area. He is just having a blast, quite literally going around clearing up all of the ice creatures that had made their homes here in winter, such as ice trolls, frost salamanders, and a lot of other creatures that are unsightly for the Sealy courts. So he is also just having a blast, like carving out this landscape to fit his own image of what he would have wanted an Isle of Winter to look like, which is mostly melted.
All right. I guess she gets Cypress's training underway. She returns to the Isle of Autumn and just make sure that, like, she does her duties as a Caelum there. She makes sure everybody's living in peace. If anybody needs help, she helps them. She makes contact with the Eladrin settlement in the Feydark. And she sets up a trade network between the two, between the Autumn Isle and that settlement, so that we can, like, basically have information flowing freely between the two of them, goods if there are any. And I think that she'd probably even, like, put out a notice to various scholars. Use the school that my dad went to. She basically puts out a request for anybody interested in exploring Solaris Relthwyn.
Okay.
and puts together an expedition for that.
Okay. So when you get back to the Isle of Autumn, it is like not enough time has passed that it's back to the way things were. And honestly, there are still a lot of giant mushrooms that have just sort of been left. Like when Kasen had made these shelters to protect against the snowfall, once winter was taken care of, it's not like you can ungrow a mushroom. So a lot of these have sort of just been left, and there are quite a few of the Eladrin here who are in the process of removing them as best they can. But a lot of these have become like marker points for cities. Like, oh, that giant blue cap is Duskridge over there. That orange cap over there. Okay, that's Caelan's Bridge. Like, it's easier for people to kind of pick out where they're going. When you are in the Fomorian Fortress, you notice that they're still in the process of completing the wall that Caelum had actually started, the Wall of Remembrance. But the thing that you notice is that there are 4 statues that are being made. And one statue looks like a dragon-like man. Another statue looks like a wizard, elf adjacent. Another statue is much shorter than the others and quite closer to completion. That is about halfling in size comparison. And then there is a statue actually of you that is being built as well. And Cori, as you are going about this town and you are hearing the praise and people are recognizing you for the things that you actually did, is again, you were on all of the big screen TVs, got eaten, and then you were on the big screen TVs again, not having been eaten and killing their captors. So a lot of people, like, unless you guard yourself or like protect yourself, like hide your face, whatever, you were just like getting swarmed by thankful people.
I think the first time she makes that mistake, and then pretty much every time following, she will, like, hood up.
Yeah. And it is during one of these hood up moments, hood up visitations, that you begin to hear about something else here. It's almost like a whisper on back streets, but they are talking about there is more of the common knowledge here of when the Savior embraced a season that none of the Eladrin here had ever known about before, and that this Caelum that they are building a statue of claimed to have invoked the season of death. And they don't know what that means. But when they saw it, the Fomorians died. And you start seeing that there are like small street shrines and like little tidbits and pieces that have been left in praise of the season of death.
I think she takes this as a curiosity more than anything. Like the thought crosses her mind, like, should I clear this up, or she thinks about this and finally like settles on the thought that like this gives them hope, and I don't want to ruin that. So
okay.
Hope never dies, man. Just leave it be.
Don't you invoke that name of that fucking play, okay?
Is that a play?
Love Never Dies is the sequel
Oh,
to Phantom of the Opera. It was
see.
close
Okay.
enough.
Well, someone invoked the name.
You're the only person who was going there.
she's referring to the speech that she made way back when, was that is this begets that, this begets that, this begets hope, and hope doesn't die. So
Yes.
she's cool. She's just gonna let that happen.
Okay. Sounds good. Yeah. Things.
But she also She also makes sure that there's like a very clear and well-maintained path between that fortress and Autumn. So anybody living in that fortress can return to the surface if they want to, and vice versa. If people want to go live down in the Fomorian city, that is now basically a new place that we also live.
Yes, and the Fomorian city, between there and Caelim's Bridge, they incorporate what are known as deep runners. And deep runners are the lycanthropes, those kind of like neon glowing Eladrin lycanthropes that you had met, that choose actually to stay in the Feydark. But seeing as how they are much more useful helping out with the trade routes, that's what they're currently doing, is more just acting as guards. So that's part of the establishment of their trade route. I would want to say training Cypress, you realize that he fights well. He still has some of that Caelum training, but he has definitely taken a more ranger style approach, that he and Snowy are working as a team. It's not just him by himself anymore. Which makes training a little bit hard, because like training against Cypress, you can afford to like hit him a little bit harder with your shield. But there's a primordial spirit inside of this crag cat, and it is very difficult to like even think about like, okay, if I like hit this thing, this cat's going to be mad at me for 16 hours because that's what science has told me. But at the same time, if I hit it really hard, is it going to cause winter to be a thing again? I'm just not going to do that. That's fine. And so you, at this point, I would say you could take over an aspect of Cypress's training. What aspect would you like to take over? As the more ranger style training, Redbeck is actually going to be overseeing. Seasonal change. Okay.
It's what she was supposed to do from the beginning.
Okay. Make a Arcana check.
Oh, fuck. It's a 13.
A 13? Yeah, so you can help Cypress in this, but there is still a part of him now more so than ever that you see he like tries to shift to spring and he gets pinkish, and then that just seems to almost be swallowed back up by his winter form. He'll try summer, same thing, and it just gets enveloped by his winter form again. It seems almost like that wintry form that he has is stronger than the others. And that probably honestly has to do with the fact that he has attuned himself to this beast.
All right. She'll explain to him like, I've had that same problem. Don't worry about it. It's fine. Only with the whole Raven Queen thing. Yeah. I think that she's going to shift that aspect of training from like, you have to be this way, you have to be normal. Like, she's going to shift that to be like, all right, so winter is going to be your primary season. If you are able to shift to other seasons later down the line, all the better for you. But let's see how we can use your winter season. Let's focus on that and just make that something that is a positive influence on you rather than a negative one, which it can be.
Yeah, and as you're doing this, it is very clear that he has a much easier time even getting close to fall or close to spring, but there is like the most blockage between him and summer. It seems like with winter being adjacent to both fall and spring, it's kind of easier for him to kind of feel out that flow, whereas summer is something that is very hard for him to even begin thinking about accessing.
All right. I think that first of all, she'll make sure, like, is this something you want to pursue? Do you want to continue working on winter, or is pursuing the other seasons something that you feel is important in your own training?
He says that for right now, he wants to focus on being able to stand on his own 2 feet like he used to.
All right. Well, in that case, Cori is going to recommend sticking with winter for now. And, like, Eladrin are really long-lived creatures. Like, certainly continue, like, meditating on the other seasons and, like, attempting to approach them. But, like, don't worry about it. It'll come with time.
Yeah, and I think that that's kind of the same recollection, or the same general understanding that he comes into as well, is that he wants to get back to where he was, standing on his own 2 feet. If anything, not being able to shift to spring, fall, or summer kind of makes him feel better about it, because those are problems that he had before all of this started. So it's almost like, oh, thank God, like, my old problems are still there. I know how to work around the fact that I didn't have those before. So he's taking things slower, definitely. Right. He does not have the same gung-ho attitude about training that he used to. He's still there for it, but it is... like, he is of the mindset where if he does too much in a single day, if he does too much in a given time, he just needs to take a break. And that is a bodily limitation that he has on himself. It's not a matter of his mind not wanting to, but he physically cannot, and now he is in the process of mentally retraining himself to tell himself that it is okay, that is what is happening. Yeah, I would say it is also during your training, during this time, that you start feeling aspects of the mantle coming back to you. Something that you haven't felt since you had accepted its call, what feels like months ago at this point. And for Cori, it has been months. And I think you probably first realize it when you are doing shape changes. It's easier now, more so than it ever has been before. And there was something so calming and fulfilling about being in the ex-Fomorian fortress within the Feydark. Because there was a level of reverence and respect that people have for the Caelum of Autumn, and you can feel it now. Like, it's not that you couldn't feel it before, but it is almost a tangible thing for you now.
So she almost feels drawn there.
Not necessarily drawn, but on the Isle of Autumn, compared to the other isles, you feel stronger here. You feel more powerful here. And not that you don't when you leave and go to other places within the Feywild, but there is definitely a sense of home base.
Right. Okay.
So then back on the material plane, speaking of home bases, Arjhan, you have just gotten quite a bit of pumpkin bread. Gwen is busy filling up some back orders of more breads that you currently have on order as well. And you are making your way to the shrine that is on the 4th floor of your tower. And it's easy for Arjhan, especially. You don't necessarily have to walk up 4 flights of stairs. You can just fly to the top rung, walk down 1, and then it's a much shorter distance for you, all things considered.
Yeah. I go into the shrine.
Yeah, and walking into this room, everything else in this in this tower seems very Spartan, very bare bones. But the architects spared no expense when it came to this room. There is a masterfully worked shrine in the back. There are tapestries off to the side. The symbolism is there. There are rugs. Everything is here, as well as a set of incense holders that look like a set of stone dragon claws that are kind of just holding themselves out, that you can put the incense holders in and then they will burn down.
Yeah. I take out 5 sticks and just sort of... I still have something where I can do fire claws. If not, I'll just sacred flame it. But yeah, I light it in a cool way.
Okay. It has been coolly lit. So as you, because you had been wanting to speak to Tiamat for some time.
Yeah.
And
I
so,
think kind of, yeah.
in a way, to touch base at least. And as you are focusing on this, as the incense takes hold, you feel yourself kind of drifting to a familiar place for Arjhan at this point, into the halls of the hells. And when you find yourself, you are standing near Newell, and Newell sees you and says, "It is very good to see you again, my lord. It has been some time, and the queen would like a word, if possible."
He'll nod at them. Yeah, all right. And he'll go to his queen.
Yeah, and Newell will escort you there. And when you do, you are in this 5-pointed chamber, and the only one of the aspects of Tiamat that is currently there waiting is Zelena, who seems to have showed up before anybody else. But when you arrive, not even she can hide the small smile that plays on her face when you walk into this room. And as you make your way, she will place 2 of her fingers to her forehead, and you see her mouth the words "sisters." And it is around that time that the other aspects of Tiamat begin making their way into this room as well, until all 5 of them are seated at their respective thrones, and they are looking upon you. And Kara, the black aspect, will say, "Arjhan, since our last meeting, you have brought a great joy to our house. Not only has Tarlayan recovered due to your contributions to his soul bath, one of my sister Kravena's agents has spoken highly of you as well."
Which one's Kravena?
Kravena is the red dragon.
Would I get the sense that she is speaking of
She's speaking of
Scorchbane?
She's speaking of Rasa.
Rasa, okay.
Yes. It seems Rasa has spoken very highly of you. And you have further pleased my sister's curiosities with the addition of a new voice into our chorus as well. And this is when she means Scorchbane. You've been doing excellent work on the material plane. So we have thought it fit to reward you. I hope you don't mind. We used our company shares to exhibit some control over your research and development department momentarily. Bridget and you see Kara makes a motion and the door opens and a white Abishai holding 3 small packages comes in and waves to the queens, and they nod towards her.
Oh, hey, y'all.
Oh, hey, y'all. Nice to see you. My queens. Bridget. They say in unison towards her. And Bridget will approach you, Arjhan. And she says, now, I realize the last couple times that we met, the queens asked me that I could possibly make something for you. And I was thinking, okay, what could I make for Mr. Arjhan that would actually be worthwhile, useful, and utilitarian? And I figured you got that thing that you always use to like shoot people with, like your crossbow. I've been thinking about ways to improve that. And so they gave me the go-ahead. I need the thing.
Wait, am I like physically here? I thought I was literally just praying.
That's a difficult topic that I am not on the board to answer. And the queens, like, Kara lets a deep sigh and kind of pinches the bridge of her nose. And Madri kind of like straightens out her glasses a little bit and says, it's a figurative thing. You being here, you are not physically here, but the blessings that we bestow upon you will have physical ramifications. Right? And she looks over towards Zelena, and Zelena nods like, yeah, you got it right.
I'll hand over patience.
Okay. So Bridget begins quickly working on patience. And you see that towards the firing chamber, she takes out what looks like a 6-shooter barrel. And using a tool, she will draw a square along the edge of patience. And then she will put the 6-shooter barrel towards it. And then it grafts on to the weapon itself. From the front end of patience, she will make another marking and then is able to graft on another piece of machinery. And this looks like where your crossbow only has 1 exit chamber. This looks like a row along the bottom that kind of connects back towards the 6-shooter chamber.
So it's like the crossbow from Van Helsing.
Little bit, yeah. And then there towards the back near that 6-shooter chamber, she also creates a small circular hole and then puts in a brief attachment to it. And you can see that attachment doesn't actually have anything after it. It looks more like where something that you would screw a head onto. And I will send you the improvements that Patience has gotten. And Bridget ends up saying, so I call this part the Tyrant Chamber. I hope that's all right with all you queens. Then this part is the Queen's Breath, so you're going to want to use that. And then this one, I know that you were planning and maybe have been doing. I heard you talking about a lot of those things that you were doing with like potions and stuff. And so I figured, hey, maybe it would probably be better if you could like utilize those potions while you were shooting at people. So I think I'll call it the infused shot, where like you can like put potions in as part of like your shots that you're firing towards people. And then like you'd be able to deliver it from a distance if possible.
Oh.
So the improvements for all of you at home, The Tyrant Chamber at the beginning of your turn. Select one of the following damage types: acid, cold, fire, force, lightning, or poison. For the rest of your turn, attacks made with patience deal the chosen damage type. Queen's Breath. You basically get your shotgun blast breath weapon, but it recharges like a regular dragon's breath would on a d6 at the end of your turn. And an infused shot. Once per turn during your attack action, you can take a potion that you have, empty it into the infusion chamber, and then the next shot that you make can actually deliver the effects of that potion, and all attacks made towards allies within 60 feet will hit unerringly.
I'm Anna.
You're Anna now, but also with some added buffs. But yes, you can actually use a potion as part of an attack action, not the full round action, to heal up somebody. Or, like maybe coat them in an oil of slipperiness. I'm not going to tell you what you can and can't fire through there.
Ooh, that sounds awful.
It sounds terrible.
Yeah, Arjhan has been just kneeling this entire time, and he'll just not just thank you, my queens.
And they say, there is a yes, thank us from most of them, but Kara is the only one that says no. Thank you. You've done excellent work on the surface. We appreciate your efforts.
Is there anything that you would ask of me?
There is a silence that seems to fall over the throne room. And Kara says, "It would appear that upon doing research into the events that brought you into the world, we have discovered an air of treachery amongst our midst. Have you ever wondered why or how the woman Tylera was able to acquire one of the eggs that that Tarlane was supposed to emerge from? It seems she had a source pointing her in the right direction. And it seems I have been bedding that source for quite some time until Tarlane made their way back to me. Agravain is to be considered an enemy.
I thought Agravain was dead.
Things can get very difficult to direct down here as to who is dead, who is not. If your spirit has made it here, your spirit can find its way back to the plains. And it seems like the woman known as Tylera was able to maintain quality contact with Agravain. He is no longer within our halls. We have no means of being able to find him on our own. But you have proven very useful and resourceful on the material plane. Find him. Bring him before us, in one way or another, and we shall rightfully punish this traitor.
It will be done. Also, did they talk to the Raven Queen?
They did. It did not gain very many results. It seems like talking to her is a little bit of a difficulty.
Okay.
But yes, so your queen has given you an objective as to someone they would like to see returned to them.
Oh, you're level 15. That's ancient dragon killing time, right?
Yeah, close enough. And at that again, the Queen's Chamber offers you the best of luck and their eternal gratitude for what you have done thus far.
All right. Am I expelled or am I still there?
Should you do if you have anything that you would like to do while you are here?
Just if Tarlayan is around,
Yeah.
is if I would assume that he already knows, but would he have advice on how to track a possibly dead dragon?
Yeah. So when you go to meet him, last time you saw him, he was he was sitting inside of that pool, the green glowy pool. When you see him this time, he is currently out, and he is kind of like flying around this large room, more stretching his wings. And when you go and enter into his chamber, he will swoop down.
You look better.
And that I owe you my thanks. Something I did not expect to be saying at any point, truly.
I need to find Agravain.
Don't we all? If you are to search for him, he is not quiet. I believe you have already heard of a rival business dealing of your own, correct?
Yes.
Southpaw. They will know where he is, for they answer to him. Even if he's dead, he's still able to give orders.
All right. Well, sounds like you'll finally get your wall.
Excellent.
Yeah, I'm cool cutting it there.
Yeah. And I feel like Tarlayan would say that although he never sired any more in his line, he's proud to call you a son.
I'm not going to answer that. I'm not going to dignify that with a response.
Okay. So yeah, exiting the room, you are able to find yourself back in the Dragon Forge. The sticks of incense are reaching that like last little itty bitty bit where like they're barely holding on. One has already fallen over.
Gwen.
Yeah.
Do you just like
It's just
pop
like
into?
walking by the room. What?
We might need to kill an ancient black dragon who might already be dead.
Right now?
Not right now, but at some point.
Okay, because I was making lunch.
Oh, okay. I'll come down.
Okay. So, I'm sorry, who?
Agravain. the
Right.
while Tarlane was stuck with me, Tiamat had moved on to a different consort.
Okay.
And that was Agravain. And I'll explain the whole, like,
Okay.
oh, how am I get the hug?
Yeah. Gwen is tries to be as understanding as possible, and is like, all right, we're probably gonna need some backup for this.
Probably.
Yeah.
But, I mean, figure that can wait until after Shroudport, right?
Right. Yes. Do we even know where he is?
No.
Good. Okay. Yeah. Shroudport first.
Okay. Sounds good. So the two of you are making lunch and then later in the day heading off to Shroudport?
Yeah.
Okay. Sounds good. So the two of you will be able to make your way over to Shroudport. Okay, let's get the time frame lined up. Mostly because we've been hopping back and forth, being like, oh yeah, you're here for a couple weeks, that's totally fine. You're here doing this thing for a couple weeks, that's totally good as well. So like just to all be on the same page. Except for Cori, because time moves differently in the Feywild. Danae and I have already talked about that. That is no worries. So when you guys had initially come back and Caelum had been restored, that day was Denier the 1st, which was essentially the 1st of November. You had spent, I want to say, 2-3 weeks at the Goliath camp? How long had you spent at the Goliath camp?
$2 weeks?
2 weeks? Okay. So 2 weeks. Caelum had spent roughly around 2.5-3 weeks total, just on the ship with Oliviette. So let's say, for the purpose of timekeeping, that we are at the end of November. This has been about a month since you guys have actually come in and we're doing stuff, just so that way Caelum can also have his aside with Amaris. Unless, Caelum, you wanted the events with Amaris as well as, or no, it would have to line up because you guys did have the, like, hey, we saw the bread people again.
Yeah.
So we can also have you have been at the Dragon Forge for like a couple days, like a week tops, just to kind of help line things up a little bit better again. So at this point, let's say that the date is it would be the 21st of Denier. Or no, it wouldn't be 21st. You'd be 3 weeks is 21 days. So it'd be the 22nd of Denier. Just for my own timekeeping as well. So you guys are then in the morning deciding that you want to go and bamf over to Shroudport, see what all the dealie is there. I believe that the closest transport place that you guys have is Silt Creek.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so it's Silt Creek, and then it would be it was originally a 5-day travel between there and Shroudport, so you have another 5 days on horseback, that sort of thing, to be able to make your way down to Shroudport. The day that you arrive in Silt Creek, Gwen, you notice that even through all of her running around and obvious playtime, Cybra is getting a little bigger around the tummy.
Cybra, girl, we gotta put you on a diet. You've been spoiled.
Gwen, make an animal
I
handling
know.
check.
Okay, guys, don't look at me like that. I know. Gwen doesn't know. Jesus H.
Yeah, make an animal handling.
Okie dokie. Got a +0. It's a 7.
A 7? She might be constipated. Like, you press on the sides and there's like definite, like, There's resistance there. She's
Yeah.
probably just full of poop.
Arjhan,
Yeah.
you got any like herbs or shit to like, deal with constipation for like a dog? For Cybra. She's like,
I was gonna suggest coffee, but dogs shouldn't have coffee.
no. She's getting kind of like her belly's all like backed up.
Arjhan, you can make an animal handling check on this.
I'm like, where is animal handling? Like, it's not a natural one.
You don't have anything for it on hand. You could probably make some stuff over the next couple days. But you also know, this happens to animals around the winter time. Could just be that she's getting ready to go to sleep. Hibernate a little bit, maybe. No, wolves don't hibernate. We all know this.
No, but that's okay.
No, I don't have apps for that.
All right. Well, maybe we'll get something in Shroudport. You're gonna be okay, my girl. You're gonna be okay.
Cybra is happy as a clam. He's a big ol' happy puppy.
Yeah.
Happy dog.
Probably on the trip down, Gwen will send a message to Cori if she can through the message thing.
Yeah.
Well, it's the pins, right?
Yes.
That we've got. Yeah. Let's
So
beep boop.
roll a d100.
I'm sick. 45.
All right, your message fires off. No problem. So at this point, you guys have been gone for a month.
Sorry.
So Cori, you have been in the Feywild for about 3 years at this point when you received this message from Gwen.
Okay.
Wow. Okay. Cori, I'm an ant.
Oh no, she's some type of bug now.
We saw the bread people again. It was great. Cybra had playtime. And Arjhan and I are going to Shroudport. Deuces.
Okay. Gwen. Wow, it's been so long. Good to hear from you. Shroudport. Am I supposed to come? Cori.
You can send her a
Arjhan.
message the following day or have Arjhan
Yeah.
deliver the letter.
The voice was a little deeper too.
Yeah, the next day Gwen will send. I mean, if you want. Might be a big deal, but nothing we can't handle. If you have time, pop over. We will pop off.
So let me get this straight. This message is coming back in like 2-3 weeks.
Yeah.
To Cori.
Exactly.
Cori, at this point, it's probably been like a couple months since you last heard from your friends.
Gwen? Okay. Let me know if you need me. Cori.
Arjhan, I don't understand why she's so confused when I'm sending these to her. She's just like shocked that I'm talking to her. I mean, I know we didn't leave off on the best terms.
I'm trying to do math in my head, and I'm not familiar enough with what's going on to really pinpoint why that's happening.
Should we tell her to come?
I don't know.
Might be good to have backup.
Yeah.
And that way she knows we don't hate her.
Okay.
Can you call her? Just tell her, yeah. Should we pick her up?
Cori.
No, we're already on the road. We're not in the house anymore, right?
Hey, I mean, if you found a door handle made of silver.
Cori, we're going to Shroudport. Could you chill back up? I'm assuming backup is one word.
Yeah. It's a hyphen, I think.
Are these messages getting to you all right? How are things? Arjhan.
Things are good. Sorry. It's just hard to keep track. Will you be picking me up? Or should I secure transportation?
Should we pick her up?
I mean, that makes the most sense.
All
Depending on
right,
where
let's
she
head
is.
back.
You guys are like almost to Dawngrass, like just crested the hill where you initially got Cybra, and then we're like, fuck it. And then we gotta go pick up our friend.
Yep, we start heading back.
Alrighty. Sounds good. So Caelum, what are you doing?
I assume that I already have the silvered door handle.
Yeah. It took a couple days, but you're fine now.
And I do have a teleportation circle to the Dragon Forge.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's going to sending Kendek, say that he's on his way with the materials,
Okay.
and then bamf over the Dragon Forge.
Okay. And when you arrive at the Dragon Forge, you can see that there are a few more people here than you remember. There are some humans that seem to have taken residence in some of the like makeshift housing that's there. There is a bald wood elf man that you remember that seems to be going around like saying hi, introducing himself to others. There is a there's a food cart that is just the bread cart that has stationed there, and they seem to
Caelum
be like,
runs over there and then pays for some sourdough bread.
yeah, they are happily going to accept your money. And at this point, they are in the process of actually building out what looks like a storefront from their cart. It seems like they're in the market to sit down, and they could possibly retire with the 25 platinum pieces that Gwen had thrust on them not too long ago. So now they are making a storefront for some dedicated customers near a lakeside and a sleepy would-be town.
Like a really nice Kaiser roll with sesame seeds on it.
It was the, bread was almost done. They took the knife, ran it across the top so it gets that really satisfying, big X mark. Yeah. Put some sesame seeds on top of that. Or sesame seeds or poppy seeds?
Everything. Some diced onions, some dried garlic.
Are you the first person to create the everything bagel?
I hope I could be.
I'll let you have this one.
Yes. One of my greatest works.
They call it a Magister Bagel.
I love it. Can I get a Magister Bagel with cream cheese and lox, please?
Oh yeah, no, like, and Lox is super easy to come by. There's a lake that has a body of that extends down to the ocean right over there. So salmon prevalent. So you are able to do this thing. So working with Kendek, you know that making this is going to be it's going to take some time. He's a weaponsmith, but you have a pretty grand idea as to what you actually want to make. As far as I believe it was Flutter Pin-On
Yes.
is what you ended up wanting to call it. So you will be here for, I want to say, at least a week while all this is getting done.
It's Kendek like hammering out the parts and then Caelum inscribing them with the necessary runes.
And inscribing into metal, difficult. Inscribing into hot metal, little bit easier.
I think it's equally as difficult
Equally
because you're
as
gonna
difficult.
burn yourself.
Well, again, easier to like inscribe, not as easy to not get burned. So like you will like get a couple like toasty hands, but thank goodness absorb the elements is there. And Caelum, as you're here, make a perception check.
8.
An 8? Okay. Yeah, just like you're kind of getting to know the townsfolk. A lot of these people seem to be overflow from the gated glen. As more people are kind of coming up, and they don't like the bureaucracy that was involved in the glen, mostly because everyone's concerned about expanding the wall out to create a secure spot within the woods. They never really saw that as an issue. They heard that there was a startup town towards the north near the river that wasn't Crystal Shores, or the town that doesn't like adventurer types. So they are more than willing to kind of like move up here. You start hearing that like game is getting a little scarce around, and maybe that's just Stroom, maybe it's getting closer to winter, but you're hearing it from a decent number of people now at this point. Back with the rest of the group, Arjhan and Gwen, what did you do with Philip? Like, he was there in Silt Creek initially. Have you just been like bamfing him around in the house and he's just like, I live here? Like, you come in, he's like made food for y'all.
Wearing an apron that says Kiss Todd.
He is he's the boyfriend who moved in, and like you guys are okay with him because like he makes you food and stuff, but like he doesn't really, he has a job. He works for Arjhan at Silt Creek. Like, are you just gonna drop him back off?
He's on vacation for a couple weeks. That's okay. We'll drop him back off when we get there.
He has paid time off.
Yeah.
We're picking you up for vacation. By the way, this counts as your PTO. Just oh, okay. Yeah, so I would think that when you say that you're going to the Feywild, Philip will just like, you know what? I'm going to stay in Silt Creek for a little bit, make sure that everything's up and running with the building that he had purchased some months ago. And when he arrives, not much work on it has been done to his chagrin. It seems as though the other members of Tyrant Security saw that, oh, boss is gone and like our local manager's gone. We're just gonna like observe the local landscape, make sure that like the people are protected, that sort of thing. You know that they were probably just like adventure.
Lacking?
A little bit. They're like going on like a team building exercise around the vicinity to identify any possible threats. A year ago, there was a real problem with cave fishers. So like they're making sure that any local cave entrances or exits have been sealed off properly. But I would say it's around that time that if you would like, you are more than willing to make your way to your house and thusly to the Feywild.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, so you make your way to the Feywild. You're at the only point that you had as like a save spot was the Jonquil estate on the Isle of Spring. And when you arrive, you can see that like more of the building has like grown much more than it would have been in a month. This looks almost like there are like several years construction that has taken place here, seemingly almost overnight. Skipple comes out to meet you and see his long lost girlfriend of Cybra. He looks a little bit older than he last did. Also, a couple years older. And you also see that Cori's dad is there as well. You see the telltale signs of the boom coming from inside the compound. He doesn't come out to greet you. He's still in the process of working on some things. But you at least are in the Feywild. It's worthwhile.
How much time had passed between our last message with Cori and getting to the house?
Your last message with Cori happened for you earlier that day. Cori, you received that phone call maybe like 5 days ago.
So neither Gwen nor I have a message.
No. Cori has messages though.
Okay.
And Cori, did you just like start heading back to your dad's house?
Yeah, I think she would have spent like a week there, before being all like, all right, well, guess I better get back to work.
My sabbatical's over. Jeez.
Yeah, no, Cori will step out of the house. What you see is a tall figure, broad-chested, and it has they have a resemblance to Cori. However, there's a much more masculine appearance, and in fact, there is actually like a little bit more angular features in the face, and even a little touch of facial hair on the chin. And this Eldrin in autumn form with the long hair and everything still puts their arms out, just like, guys.
I didn't know Cori had a sibling.
Cori?
Hi.
How long has it been?
Cori, it's been about 3 years.
We don't use those words here. Oh, it's been a while. How's everything at home? Oh, here, hold on. Cori will run into the garage, basically, and I think that there is the sound, the distant sound of like two voices kind of going back and forth a little bit. Basically, Cori says their goodbyes and to Pink Dad, because he's going to be mad if I don't, and then comes running back out, basically like shoos them back into the house. It's like, come on, we should go.
Sure. Okay, Cori. Arjhan, what the fuck is going on? I'm pretty sure that she never looked like that before.
I'm guessing time has passed a lot more for you than it has for us. We haven't seen nearly as much or checked in on nearly as much as we've needed to, and we're honestly a little anxious about what we're going to find in Shroudport.
Cori is already like working at the controls. I think that they might have even like grabbed had a bag, like a bug out bag next to the door ready to go, and just like grabbed that and ran in.
Oh yeah, especially if you know that your friends have been like on their way for a while, like you're gonna get prepared.
And when Arjhan says, I guess, like, time, a lot more time has passed here, Cori's like, which is precisely why we need to get going. We don't know how much time's going to pass even now. And then like, boop, hit the thing to go. Shroudport, right?
We just got here.
The building
We have
stays.
to wait.
Oh,
We had to. Yeah.
sorry, it's been a while. I forgot.
It's all right. You look good. You look different.
Kind of like scratches at the facial hair a little bit. Do you like it? Is it too much?
That looks decent. Yeah. Suchi.
It's a little
Oh.
patchy, but
Bless. You look a bit surprised.
no, this is totally normal for us, Cori.
So, it's been a bit of time. Sometimes Eladrin tend to shift. Gender is basically no different from seasons for us.
Oh.
Okay.
Oh, okay. Why didn't you do it before?
I was
Oh my
still
god.
an infant.
Wait, you were an infant? Oh my god.
I mean, in Eladrin terms, yeah.
I need to deal with some dreams I had.
I mean, not an infant to you, obviously. It's complicated. Here, let's sit down. House. What was the house's name again?
We totally remember the house's name. 'Cause
Do you
Gideon.
say this aloud in the
Gideon.
house?
Yes. I was gonna play it off like,
Gideon.
oh, Wings remembers what the house's name is. Definitely.
I feel like you just hear a, it's Gideon.
Sorry, Gideon. Can I get a chalkboard or something?
Chalkboards are for residents only.
Oh, damn.
Gideon, can you please get her a chalkboard?
You hear the groaning of floorboards, like a begrudging moan from the house. And then out from one of the walls, like the panels move away and there is a chalkboard there.
A lot more attitude than I remember. All right. And then Cori goes over and starts, like, since we have time, Cori goes over and explains the ins and outs of, like, so, like, Eladrin, like, you know, they age at the same rate as, like, humanoids. So, like, you know, when she was 20, you know, she was basically 20 in human years. But, like, as time goes on, she's going to age and mature in the same way that Eladrin do. It's just that, like, Eladrin kind of have more stages in the life cycle, as it were. So then after second puberty,
Caelum gets a nosebleed.
we've had first puberty, but what about second puberty?
Okay. I mean, that makes sense. Surprisingly. You've gotten more concise.
Thank you, I've been working on it.
Cori,
Damn.
make an animal handling check as well.
And there's like, someone's gonna notice that this dog is pregnant.
Somebody, one day, somebody with not a 0, 16?
Thank God someone noticed. Yeah,
Oh, by the way,
Cori.
congratulations.
Yeah.
Huh?
Oh, I can see there's puppies on the horizon.
What? Oh shit. Oh shit.
I thought you were just fat. What are you doing?
And I think that is the perfect place to call it for tonight's session. So I would like to say thank you to everybody who decided to stick with us and join us through this wonderful session of even more downtime, where it turns out, no, Cybra is not full of poop. She's full of pop. But I always have a great time whenever these people are on the channel. Seriously, what a great game. RJ, where can we find you? What do you do?
Hey everybody, I'm RJ, but you can catch me at RJustice282 on Twitter and Twitch, where I tweet about nerdy things in my life, and also think that Cyber's just a little chunky because I got a 9 on animal handling check. You can catch me here Mondays as Caelum, the Shatterkai Wizard, up to my normal wizard bullshit. On Saturday this week, you can catch me over at GGK, where we play Star Power, a JoJo's Bizarre Adventure / Persona-inspired game system. Oh boy. called Overarms. Yes, thank you. I was blanking real quick. I play Fang. He is really, really stressed out right now. His grandpa died and got his soul got shunted into their cat. His name is Bao. His girlfriend got shot. His other friend was in a traffic accident, and Danae's character is being held hostage. So we'll resolve that on Saturday. Sundays, catch me over at the Hype Goblins channel over in the AM, where I play Roland Granbrook, a sorcerer cleric half-elf who just wants to heal people and monster fuck. DanaeKeener.com.
Hello, everyone. I'm LBHackEmUp. You can find me at LBHackEmUp on the Twitters and the Twitches. The next time I will be streaming is tomorrow at 3 o'clock-ish on my channel. I'm going to be streaming a video game that's probably either Overwatch or Dead by Daylight, depending. I might actually do more Dead by Daylight because I want to play the killers similar. And then I'll be on TGK later that night doing Tabletop Tuesdays, where I think we're doing Land of Eam this week, where I play a skeleton who wears blush because people think that they are spooky. On Thursday, you can find me on Nerd Immersion's channel playing Baldur's Gate 3 with everyone over there. Friday, I will be back on my channel to play some horror games. I will be at Lauren's place, so the lighting is better. On Sunday, I'll be on TGK again doing Slaying 101. And then Sunday night, we're starting Playthings of the Gods, which is a 5th edition homebrew campaign that I'm running on my channel. Oh, it's going to be so good. DanaeKeener.com.
Oi! Yeah, I'm sorry. Look, I didn't have any tabletop streams last week. I'm out of practice. Let me get back into it. You can find most of my stuff at cyberwolf121.live. It's got links to my Twitter, where I also just posted a new pinned tweet that has my links to everything. And it's got my Twitch on it, where I play video games real badly and talk about lore. We're doing Hollow Knight right now. And we're in Kingdom's Edge, but not really doing anything in Kingdom's Edge. Yeah, we're doing stuff. It's a good time. Archives of that go to YouTube, youtube.com/cyberwolf1201. Check out Jabroni TV. It's got a lot of cool people doing a lot of really cool streamy things. And we've got a YouTube that should be posting episodes of Boycrafts, where it's two boyfriends playing Minecraft, and it's a really good time. I'm editing those videos. So yeah, check those out, because I had a lot of fun making those. And for RPG stuff, I want to shout out my Patreon again, patreon.com/cyberwolf1201. You don't have to pay for stuff, but I've been posting form fillable character sheets for games on there. You might have seen our dear friend Greybeard Tavern post the ones that I made for Impulse Drive. That was actually retweeted by the creator. I was like, that's cool. That's real cool. Those are public. I have some for bite marks as well, and all the other things that I'm working on go there at in some shape or form. Exandrian conversions of official D&D adventures are the only actual things that I charge for, and they're just like a $1 for forever thing. It's not a monthly occurrence. Just, yeah, I put stuff on my Patreon, and they're cool, and you should check it out, because I'm not going to charge you for it. But for RPG games that I'm in, clearly I'm here on Mondays, playing in this wonderful game, and I'll be back on Wednesday on Open for Adventure with RJ, and we might go to my house in the next episode, so that's fun. So yeah, check that out.
Get ready for this big cat to rifle through everything.
Bold of you to assume that I own things. I think that's it. Yeah. DanaeKeener.com.
Speaking of DanaeKeener.com, hi everybody, I'm Danae Keener. You can find me at DanaeKeener.com. I do nerdy drawings, mostly related to D&D and a lot of things on this channel. You can go to @DanaeKeener on Twitter to find my streaming schedule. And that's about it. DanaeKeener.com. Why? Oh no!
I don't know. My camera decided that it wanted to be scary at this last moment. Hello, everybody, and if you've made it this far, you probably already know who I am, but if you don't, hey, Acorns, what's up? It's me, your buddy, your pal, your friend, the Indoor Adventurer, the showrunner here at twitch.tv/Indoor Adventures. We do shows like this on Monday and Thursday at 5:30 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, as well as on Sundays at 7 o'clock p.m. Pacific Standard Time. If this is your first time joining us, you can go to youtube.com/Indoor Adventures to check up on all of the VODs of each of the games that we have played up until this point, or you can go towards where anywhere audio casts are made available for free. You can also find us there under the same moniker. But for now, we are going to be going into our Patreon-supported after show called Nights in the Courtyard, where we answer questions not only from the community, but also from each other. So if you have any questions that you would like to ask myself or any of these other fine folk, feel free to join us on that there Patreon, and we will do our best to respond in kind. But with that, I would like to say once again, thank you to everybody who decided to stop by and join us. Thank you to these players for putting up with my bullshit once again this week, and we will see all of you guys next time. All right, everybody. Bye-bye!